Hello everyone, and now welcome to Game 2 here on Daybreak. Nerchio taking Game 1 with an unorthodox early opening. I believe it was a 7 pool, or a 7 or 8 pool with a metabolic boost, and the Nerchio Zerglings were just able to get across the map, get enough damage in. I had thought Snute would be able to hold it off, and Snute did hold it off, but the follow-up damage later on took down Snute's expansion, and Snute was really unable to recover from that low point there. We are now moving into Game 2 in the series here on Daybreak. Snute spawning as the blue Zerg on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Nerchio spawning on the top right of the map as... Nerchio spawning as the top right-hand side of the map as the red Zerg. I had thought Snute, knowing where his opponent has spawned or perhaps forced cross spawns, would have scouted out those Zerglings in time and then be able to defend rather easily. It looked like that was going to be the case, but things just fell apart. Now, it looks like both of these players are going into a much more traditional build. You can see the extractor now coming in, so Snute going in for an extractor pool, wanting to make sure that he doesn't lose the game because he doesn't have metabolic boost on those Zerglings. Right as that extractor is done, he should in fact be placing down that extractor, or right around that time. There you go, getting down that spawning pool. Perhaps going to be putting in 2 to 3 drones in that extractor. Alright, yeah, 2 drones right now, just because he... no, it is going to be 3. Alright, so opting to go for that faster metabolic boost. Now with this, Snute is going to be behind a significant amount of minerals. He's not going to be able to take up his third base, and it's really going to be up to Snute to put a lot of pressure on the Nerchio and make sure that drones cannot be freely trained up. Nerchio, with that additional larva, going to get a huge economic advantage if he is able to freely train up drones. You can see Snute now going to be perhaps training up a queen, getting metabolic boost, and all of those drones that were on gas were quickly pulled off, as you want to make sure that you try to catch up in the economic game. You can see 16 to 16, Snute now training up that queen. Meanwhile, the hatchery coming into play, and there's always been an argument in terms of, is it better to go queen or is it better to go hatchery first? The hatchery will always produce larvae up until it has 3. Meanwhile, the queen actually trains larvae slightly faster. An inject takes about 40 seconds to complete, but you get 4 larvae. I believe a hatchery every minute only produces 4 larvae, so there's actually a slight bonus for the queen as we now see the inject go down. So Snute not really behind in terms of the larva count, as we now see drones making their way down, and Nerchio now playing defensively. Here we go. Nerchio sending out some overlords. You can see metabolic boost has been started, and he is still harvesting gas. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the Zerg of Snute. Snute now only getting 1 drone on gas. He wants to get as many minerals as possible, since he did lose out on them a bit earlier. Production tab shows that the metabolic boost is now done. Baneling's Nest now coming in from Snute, and all he wants is just 1 drone on gas for perhaps 3 to 4 Banelings at this time, as we now see very heavy saturation here at the main base, 21 over 24. At the natural expansion here, Snute should be able to get off and inject fairly quickly. Wait for it. There it is. Wait, nope. Apparently Snute's turning me into a liar, as we now see a Baneling trying to run away. So that Baneling will be backing off. There's that inject now. Drones now being transferred over, trying to make sure that you maintain 16 to 17 workers down or here at the main base. Another inject should be coming in. Not quite sure why Snute is not doing that. Normally Snute is very much on top of all of his injects there, as he's actually gathering up a fair amount of energy, up to 37. There you go, finally getting that inject off. 27 drones versus 31 drones. And what is this play going to be? Overlords now making their way out. You can see Zerglings still wandering around. Banelings, extractors, and really no engagement at all. This has really turned into a Baneling-Zergling matchup, and this is one of the more volatile matchups in StarCraft 2. Oh, what was that? It looked like a baneling actually attacked there. That was a really, really bad trade, as those banelings are just constantly moving in between those two locations. You don't want them to actually be patrolling, as a Zergling run by could that Zergling will detonate that baneling. So the baneling's just moving back and forth, and now underneath the spine crawler. Here we still have Nerchio sitting 51 versus 53. 47 drones versus 41. Snute does have a slight economic advantage, and he is also getting up a lot more gas. Meanwhile, Nerchio is already getting up his Spire. And do we have enough queens to defend against that many Mutalisks? Snute sitting at 60 over 60, getting up, 16 Zerglings right now. This is going to be a very, very heavy hit, as we now see this Overlord trying to fly away. It is not going to be able to make it away in time, as the queen is constantly going to be able to get additional creep tumors. It looks like that Overlord will pop, and there it goes. Snute now sitting at 62 over 60. Currently supply blocked, but getting 4 more Overlords nonetheless. Here we have it. We are at tier 2. We are going for a 3rd base. We are going to go into a spine crawler as well. The Spire, however, for Nerchio nearing completion, and I do not believe Snute has any idea what tech choice his opponent has gone. Zerglings, oh, absolutely able to deal a lot of damage here. Is it going to be enough? Is the baneling? Oh, there is the engagement, but no. Not going to be enough there, as the Zerglings now try to finish this off. Nerchio at 72 over 76. Snute at 59 over 62. Nerchio is still in a great lead, as he's now getting up those 8 Mutalisks. 8 Mutalisks now coming in. You can see the Spire now coming in. Snute is significantly behind in tech, and he does have enough gas for 8 Mutalisks, but his Spire is far from being completed. This is going to be a very, very bad day for a Zergling and a Baneling if you are part of Snute's army. The Spire, where is it? Is it anywhere on the... I can click there. There it is. It looks like a... No? Where? That... There it is. It looks like a Spore Crawler or a Spine Crawler there, as the Zerglings are now attempting to take down this hatchery. Is it going to be enough? Mutalisks now making their way over. Going to shoot down this base here. A Queen will be popping out, but it may be too little, too late. Spore Crawlers are coming in as well. Double Spore Crawlers here. As are those Spore Crawlers going to be able to do enough? Queen has come over. Mutalisks are still in the skies. 4 more Mutalisks in production, as the Overlords now getting taken out. Nerchio sitting at 82 over 78. He's supply blocked as well, as another Overlord does pop. 62 over 78 compared to 81 over 78, as another Overlord will be popping there. It looks as though the Spore Crawler unable to finish this off at all, as the Zerglings are now trying to perhaps just make it to the far side of the map and take down the hatchery instead. Here you go, the Zerglings. Are they going to be able to do anything at all? Zerglings do move very, very quickly while on creep. And now trying to catch some of the drones, and now perhaps trying to take down the Spine Crawler. Will be able to take down the Spine Crawler, but at what cost? A lot of Zerglings were lost there in order to just simply trade for a Spine Crawler. 8 Mutalisks now being added. There are currently 12 Mutalisks in the air, and with that, Nerchio is going to be able to easily win out this victory, as we are now going into the Carapace upgrades. Zerg versus Zerg, Mutalisk versus Mutalisk, you always go for Carapace upgrades first because of that Glaive Worm bounce. You actually prevent more damage than you deal, as there is one Queen here. Oh, that Queen is in trouble, trying to back away, and it looks as though another Queen now coming in. Is the Mutalisk? Yes, the Mutalisks are going to finish off that Queen there. Is there enough Mutalisks here to really fight back? Another Queen now taken down, as a couple of Mutalisks are getting destroyed. Okay, let's see what's going to be happening here. Zerglings, Spore Crawler is nearby. The Mutalisk count is still much higher for Nerchio. Is it much higher? Yes, it is at 9 compared to 8 for Snute. And all we need to see now is Snute come back over the top with a heavier Mutalisk count. So far, income, gas is about even. Actually, Nerchio getting slightly more at this point, perhaps more drones on gas somewhere on the map. It looks like, yeah, 1 drone down for Snute. There are now 16 Mutalisks here compared to the 17 Mutalisks here. And there you go, the 16 Mutalisks trying to get in the attack. The Glaive Worm, the armor upgrade already coming in for Nerchio. Nerchio very smart in sniping down in the extractor and now going after the Spire. That is going to be a huge hit. If that Spire gets taken down, no armor upgrades, as Snute is now forced to engage. This is not a good engagement, and there is the GG. Snute losing to Nerchio. as Nerchio found the spire, realized, wait a second, I can force an engagement if I attack near the spire. If I'm able to snipe down the spire while it's getting that armor upgrades, then Snute will be forced to come over, and that Glaive Worm bounce damage significantly higher for Nerchio. Nerchio doing, I believe, 931 or 963 compared to the 8-4 or 9 or 852. So that is a very, very sharp drop-off in terms of the amount of damage that the Mutalisks are doing. Add in the fact that there is superior numbers, Nerchio outnumbering 2-1. When you have the upgrade advantage and the army advantage, things generally go well for you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for Game 3.